in a land where the whispers of gods still echo in the wind, and sparrows carry messages between the realms of the living and dead. Shield of Sparrows tells the haunting and heart-lifting journey of a forgotten princess who was never meant to rule, but was destined to rewrite the rules of fate. Calaverin was the second daughter, the quiet one, the one without prophecy or power. Her sister, radiant and beloved, was chosen by the seers, destined to marry a king and unify warring kingdoms. Cala, in contrast, was the shadow behind the light, the overlooked name in every ballad. But fate is a strange weaver, and when a beast from the northern wastelands kills the chosen princess days before the coronation, it is Cala who is thrust into the world's unblinking gaze. But this isn't a tale of a girl stumbling into grace. This is the tale of a girl clawing her way through curses, betrayal, and magic darker than the deepest pit of the gods' wrath. Bound by duty to marry a war-hardened prince she has never met, Cala is escorted from her golden cage across a continent, ravaged by broken pacts and beasts born of ancient sins. Her new kingdom, Elvorin, is a land soaked in blood and guarded by fear. Here the people do not believe in songs or queens. They believe in survival. And they trust no one, especially not a foreign bride with eyes, too honest and a silence that unnerves. Prince Thorn, her betrothed, is no charming royal, a scarred warrior born of fire and bone. He carries the burden of leading a fractured army and healing a kingdom splintered by decades of god curse. He doesn't want a queen, he wants a sword, and in Cala, all he sees is softness. But what he doesn't realize is that Cala's softness isn't weakness. It is steel that's simply not yet been set to flame, as Cala struggles to adapt to court politics, sharper than blades and allies, more fickle than weather. Whispers start to follow her, of a girl touched by sparrows, of dreams that show the past, and nightmares that warn of the future. She begins to feel it too, this strange pull toward places she's never been and memories she's never owned. Each night, a different sparrow comes to her window. Each morning, a scar appears on her arm, thin and silver, like the talon of a ghost. The kingdom thinks she is cursed. Cala begins to suspect the truth is much more dangerous. She is changing. Deep beneath the castle lies a chamber sealed for 1,000 years, known as the Hollow of Echoes. Once the gods walked there, now it trembles when she walks near it. As she's drawn closer to the truth, she unearths an ancient legend of a shield, a mortal soul who could contain the wrath of gods and hold the balance between the human realm and the divine. No one had ever known who that shield would be until now. With war brewing on all borders, monsters emerging from shadow, and her own powers awakening violently and without warning, Cala must make a choice. Follow the life planned for her, or surrender to the chaos within and become the weapon the world may not survive. And in the heart of the storm stands Thorn, the prince who begins to see not just strength in Cala, but something sacred, something terrifyingly powerful. Together they must navigate old hatred, ancient prophecies, and the kind of love that either redeems or destroys. But love, as the gods have proven before, is no shield. It is fire. As secrets unfold, Cala discovers the sparrows are not just messengers, they are watchers. They have been guarding the world from something buried so deep even the gods forgot it. And that something is waking. Her destiny was never to rule beside a king. It was to stand alone between heaven and ruin. In the final arc of her journey, when her power fully blooms, Cala becomes not a queen, but a storm. Shield of Sparrows is not just a fantasy romance. It is a journey of voice, of what happens when a quiet soul refuses to stay silent, of how a girl born in the shadow of prophecy carves her own fate with bare hands and a burning heart. Devney Perry crafts a world dripping with atmosphere and raw emotion, from ancient temples, swallowed by vines to snowy mountains, echoing with forgotten hymns. Each scene breathes with tension. The characters don't just exist, they bleed, break, rebuild. Cala's evolution is both heart-wrenching and exhilarating. She starts as someone who's learned to survive by being invisible, and ends as someone who sets the sky alight with a single scream. Her relationship with Thorn is not a simple love story. It's a collision of trauma and tenderness, a slow burn built on mutual scarring and healing. Secondary characters, too, add depth to this grand tale, a disgraced priestess haunted by the god's silence, a half-monster child who sees truths others ignore, a general torn between duty and forbidden affection. These voices intertwine to form a story as vast as a myth and as personal as a diary. By the end, when Calla must face the god who once loved humanity and now seeks to unmake it, her decision isn't guided by prophecy but by love. Not romantic love alone, but love for people, for self, for choice. She does not win with a sword. She wins by becoming the shield, not just of sparrows, but of all who had no voice. She becomes the story. This is a book that speaks directly to those who've ever been overlooked. For the second daughters, for the quiet ones, for the women taught to wait rather than walk. Shield of Sparrows tells them they are not the side characters. They are the storm. They are the myth. They are the shield. If you want an audiobook that will keep you breathless, tear-streaked, and utterly consumed, this is it. Let the sparrows guide you. Let the shield rise.